Cascade Hoops Talk. This is Billy D. What a great weekend of NAIA action. Buckle up. Cascade Hoops Talk starts right now. Cascade Hoops Talk, produced in the shadow of the beautiful Cascade Mountains and bringing the world NAIA basketball. One podcast at a time. Well, we got one more week to go before Christmas. You're going to notice, we're going to go through all these scores, but you're going to notice that all the most of the upcoming games this week are non-conference. There are some conferences in action. We'll mention that. Our plan is to cover the conferences and the games in the top 25 the way we've done all year, Monday through Friday. We'll have some guests this week as well. And then after Friday, then we'll be back after Christmas. So that's probably your plan too. I doubt if you're coming back after Friday before Christmas. Sure, you got a lot of honeydews to do. Well, let's get through the weekend. Grace College on Friday, they had their elementary school game where they bus in kids from elementary all over the place. It's a great thing. I've seen that at a couple of gyms. It's a lot of fun. They beat Trinity Christian 92-78. Ian Rosh, 14 points, 4 rebounds. And the freshman Tyler Rosh, 15 points, 6 rebounds. The Lancers moved to 11-0, and they're going to play Midland on Tuesday. That might be an interesting game. Midland fell the other day in Orange City, but they're definitely capable of winning a big game. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. The Bethel Pilots on Saturday, they defeated Indiana Northwest 110-67. They were on a roll. They go to 10-1 in that game. Luke Fill It Up McBride, 18 points. Colin Comer, 16.7 rebounds. The Pilots go to 10-1, and they will be at Governor State on Thursday as Steve Draven continues his Chicagoland tour. Man, they've played a lot of Chicagoland teams. University of the Cumberlands, they go to 13-0. They played Rio Grande. That was a good game. I think it was tied. No, Rio Grande was up by 2 at halftime. Cumberland's won 78-70. Kyle Duke, who's just been amazing for the Patriots all year, 24 points, 4 rebounds. Javecchio Thomas, another guy who's come through game after game for Coach Daniel, 20 points, 5 rebounds. As I say, they are 13-0. But look at this. They're going to play Pikeville on Tuesday. Yeah, Pikeville is on a roll as well. That's going to be the immovable object versus the unstoppable force. It's buy your popcorn. Montana Tech, there was some storms up in the northern prairie up there. Messed up the games a little bit. They couldn't play on, Friday. But they were able to get them in on Saturday and Sunday. So on Saturday, Montana Tech was at Mayville. They beat them 78-70 pretty convincingly. Braden Cook, 18 points, 2 rebounds. Asher Williams, the freshman out of Idaho, 16 points, 4 rebounds. Montana Tech then took on Valley City State on Sunday. Another competitive game. Was within about 6 points with 7 minutes to go. This thing was not a runaway. Montana Tech won it, 76-64. Braden Cook, again, 19 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Hayden Deacon, 17 points, 4 rebounds. So Montana Tech is at 10-4. They have a game against Montana, but I'm assuming that that's an exhibition. They'll play Northwestern Polytechnic on Friday. Northwestern Polytechnic is kind of moving through the whole frontier next week. They'll play them on Friday. Montana Western, same schedule as Montana Tech, only backwards. They mirror it. On Saturday, they beat Valley City State 89-79. Kyle Grueller, he had an unbelievable weekend. We'll show you Sunday here in a second. 24.6 rebounds. Emmanuel Stewart, who has been fantastic for the Bulldogs, 18 points, 2 rebounds, 7 assists. And then on Saturday, they played Mayville. no, Sunday. Sorry, Sunday they played Mayville. They beat them 91-69. Kyle Gruler, he put up a 30 spot, 32 points, 5 rebounds, and Emmanuel Stewart, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. So the Bulldogs go to 10-3, and they will have a test. They go to Dickinson State on January 2nd. Oh, what a way to start the new year. Drive across the prairie to Dickinson State, and Dickinson State can flat bring it. That should be a good game. Okay, here's the results from the conference. Ton of teams in this conference now. I just want to highlight a couple things. Dickinson State beat Rocky Mountain on Friday. I'm sure you already knew that. That was a huge win. They did that in Billings, too. Bellevue and Dakota State, we've been talking about them. Those are both historic North Star schools. They are still undefeated in conference. Rocky Mountain redeemed itself on Saturday and just beat the snot out of Bismarck State. And then I already told you about these Valley City Mayville State games. Here's the upcoming schedule. Oh, I forgot to grab the standings on this. Hang on a second. Okay, so why don't we go back here and go to the standings in the Frontier. The Frontier, see Bellevue, Dakota State, 7-0-6-1. They've been a surprise. And then the Montana schools, Carroll, Rocky Mountains 5-2. Carroll's unbeaten. Montana Tech and Western Montana are 4-2 and 4-3. You can see those there. How many times do we do this? If you guys listen to me year after year, you get teams up in the top 25, and then they get into conference and they're like fourth in conference. Just never fails. Almost everything is, in fact, everything is non-conference next week. But this game, Carroll and Benedictine Mesa, that'll be at Benedictine Mesa, I believe. That'll be pretty interesting. Benedictine Mesa is undefeated. As you know, they beat Arizona Christian. That'll be a good measure between the GSAC. Well, it'll be two good measures. Be between the GSAC and the Frontier, but it'll also be a good measure for where these two teams are at. Okay, let's go over to the Sooner Conference, where Langston defeated Oklahoma Panhandle. Oh, they were at Langston. Langston was very rude hosts, 76-35. They just laid the paddle on Oklahoma Panhandle. Jay Wilson, 20.7 rebounds. Trey Clark, 10 points, 8 rebounds. Panhandle was making some moves next year, and it'd really be good if in the second semester here they can get some things going. They've gone through a lot of hardships, but this was definitely a tough game for them. Langston goes to 10-2, and they're going to host Baker in a non-con on Wednesday. Also on Saturday, Nelson, they beat Oklahoma City at Oklahoma City. That was a huge win for them. They needed to make up some room as they're chasing down Langston. Now they're tied. I'll show you that in a minute. They go to 9-2. A couple of great performances. Micah Clark, 25 points, 10 rebounds, a double-double. Traylon Green, 18 points, 2 rebounds, 8 assists. They will host Florida Memorial on Tuesday in a non-conference game. Here's the rest of the action. Mid-America Christian will play, here's the rest of, this is Saturday. Mid-America Christian won. That was huge for them. They're trying to chase the main group. Science and Arts, they knocked off John Brown. Costly loss for John Brown. And Wayland Baptist, Central Christian. Remember, I told you that was a couple of teams kind of fighting to stay in the conversation. Wayland Baptist won that battle on the road. And let's see what's the standings. Langston and Nelson are tied. Oklahoma City is right there. See John Brown. They're right there at 5-2. Wayland Baptist is back up to 4-3. They're only a couple games out now. And then Mid-America Christian desperately needs to win at Science and Art, or as Science and Arts visits them, so they can get back up there. Everything else is non-conference next week for the Sooner. But watch for this game, Mid-America Christian, Science and Arts. Let's jump over to the Southern States. One team in action, Life. Let's see what we got here. Life defeated on Friday. They defeated Voorhees 99-70. Calvin Payton, 23 points, 2 rebounds. Brashon Hall, 14 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists. And then on Saturday, they redeemed themselves from that earlier loss at Thanksgiving to Talladega, and they beat them 88-73. Of course, this was at Life. Maurice Wright, though, he had 18.6 rebounds, and Shane Stevenson, 23 points, 4 rebounds. So the Runnin' Eagles are 11-3 now, and they will be at Point on January 3rd. Go to the KCAC, one of the hottest contested conferences in the country. Oklahoma Wesleyan on, what was that, Friday? They fell to Bethel. We'll talk more about that when I click over to Bethel. But they're 10-2 now, and they're going to be at Bethany on January 3rd. So they go into the break 10-2. And Bethel, as we said, they beat Oklahoma Wesleyan. Huge win for the Threshers. Carmelo Yakubu, 10.7 rebounds. I think, hang on. Okay, sorry about that. Carmelo had 10.7 rebounds in that game, and Trenton Patterson, 12 points, 3 rebounds. The Threshers, they go to 9-3, and they're going to host Briarcliff on December 30th. That's a Tuesday after Christmas, December 30th. And then, of course, the Friends Falcons also in action, number 21 in the country. They defeated McPherson. Big win. McPherson was right on their heels, 89-78. Ringo Deng, 23.7 rebounds, 6 assists, and Khalees Lee, 19 points, 4 rebounds. They are 9-2, and they will host Heston College on Thursday in a non-conference tilt. Here's the rest of the action. A couple I want to mention. Evangel, you've probably heard me say it. They are on a roll. You'll see it when we see the standings. Tough loss for Ottawa. They've been knocking right on that door, but that was a tough loss for them. There's the rest of the scores. We covered most of these already. Let's look at the standings in the KCAC. It's kind of a mess. Look at that. 2 teams are tied for first. 3 teams are tied for second. Look at McPherson, 5-1. That was a really costly loss for them and for Ottawa as well. But 2 teams are tied for first, 3 teams are tied for second, and 3 teams are tied for third. What does that make? 6, 8. 8 teams are within 2 games of each other. Man, I love the conferences. Okay, coming up on Wednesday, Evangel will be at Columbia. What a great test for Evangel. Not only Evangel, but the KCAC. Also, I think that's the one I circled. These are all non-conference games next week. Okay, over in the WAC, Indiana Tech, they just keep winning and winning and winning. 96-86, they beat Michigan Dearborn there in Fort Wayne. Jackson Fugate, a 30-spot plus, 36.7 rebounds. What an amazing season he's having. And Blake Davison, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists. Really been impressed with his play. Very consistent, delivering points, rebounds, and assists. And I ran out of room, but Steele Brassfield, 19 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. 3 terrific performances, 2 double-doubles. Out of Indiana Tech. They go to 10-1 with this win. They're going to be at Defiance on Wednesday. So the WAC will be in conference action next week. Let's look at the rest of the action in the conference. I've starred the ones that I thought were critical. Lawrence Tech, who's obviously chasing Indiana Tech, and Lourdes, both were able to get wins. And let's go to the standings. You'll see that Indiana Tech is 6-0. Lourdes is 5-1, and then Lawrence Tech, you see it there. 3 teams are, I guess that's tied for third. So that was a costly loss to Madonna. Yeah, Madonna's been a little bit inconsistent. So this coming week, Lourdes is at Cleary. Cleary is much better, and then Lourdes is going on the road. So keep an eye on that. Cornerstone is at Lawrence Tech. Lawrence Tech is trying to chase Indiana Tech. But Cornerstone is Cornerstone. Actually, Cornerstone is home. Sorry about that. Lawrence Tech is home. But still, that's a game that could really affect the outcome of the conference. And those are this week. The GPAC, they were in action. Northwestern They beat Midland, the team I talked about earlier. Midland, uh, they were tied with Northwestern at halftime. I think it was within a point. 92-75 was the final here. Jesse Van Kalsbeek, 24 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists. And Brennan Reed, 18 points, 5 rebounds. So the Raiders now, they are 12-3. Forget that part right there. They're going to play Dakota Wesleyan on Wednesday. Dakota Wesleyan on Wednesday. The Concordia Bulldogs, they fell to Dort at Dort. That is a tough place to play. For Dort, Connor Milliken, 19 points, 11 rebounds for the double-double. And Ty Van Essen, 17 points, 1 rebound. So Concordia goes to 8-4. And they're going to play Mid-American Nazarene on Friday. Okay, let's go through the rest of the scores we haven't already talked about. Briarcliff got back on the winning track. And Morningside got past Doane. You know, Doane they are the giant killers. Just keep that in mind as we get through the season here. Here's the standings. Morningside stands alone on top, followed by Concordia and Mount Marty. Northwestern is in fourth, tied with Briarcliff and Dort and Midland. So it's starting to look a lot like the GPAC right there. Kind of a packed up conference. So here's the games this week. They're all non-conference. Midland Grace, that game could be interesting. Might circle that one. Also, Morningside is at Kaiser. Morningside can really help themselves if they can go to Kaiser and beat a top 25 school. And Northwestern will be at Dakota Wesleyan. I don't care what the records are. You go into the Corn Palace. Oh, those people in Mitchell are going to be ready for the Raiders. Oh, my goodness. Heart of America, a lot of games. That is a huge conference. Just a huge conference. Let's go. I'll just scroll through the results here. Missouri Baptist beat Benedictine by 2. That was a huge win for Missouri Baptist. William Penn, we're going to have Coach on tomorrow morning. John Henry's got those guys back. You know, they were contenders year after year. They've been down a couple years, but wow, they're really knocking on the door. We'll show you in the standings. And Mid-American Nazarene is very, very quietly moving up the standings as well. We're going to try to get Adam Hepker on this week too. I haven't reached out to him yet, but if you know him, poke him, tell him to text me. So the standings in the Heart of America, another conference, just full. So Graceland just so far is in control. Missouri Baptist with that win, they stay just a game back. There's William Penn, Central Methodist Park. Look at that. And then Mid-American Nazarene. They're still 2.5 games back, but they're up in that second tier where you can still strike if you're in that second tier. So here's your games coming up. All non-conference games this week. The Red River Conference, the results there. Shreveport won. Our Lady of the Lake, hey, don't look now, but they're playing good basketball. They're 3-0 in conference. I think they're 8-3 or 7-3. They were struggling there for a little bit. And speaking of struggling, LSU Alexandria, they lose to Texarkana. Boy, they're really struggling. So let's look at the standings for the Red River Conference. Shreveport's, there's Lady of the Lake. You can read them. Texas Arcana, 4-1. They play really kind of an odd schedule. Everybody, look at LSU Alexandria. They're 2-2. They're still, if they get on a roll, they can get back there. But the way they're playing, I can't expect it. Okay, a couple games to really watch. These games are on Thursday. Our Lady of the Lake has to go to New Orleans, and they're going to play Xavier. They've got that new player, and anyway, a lot of excitement around them. And then Texas A&M, Texarkana, they're trying to keep pace with LSU Shreveport. The HBCU, just a few games on Saturday. We already talked about the Life game. Philander Smith won, Stillman, Oakwood. So here's the standings in that conference. Philander Smith and Stillman. Suno, you can see him. It's pretty bunched up. So what's happening this week? Well, they're all non-conference games, but Morningside is going to play a couple HBCUs. Olivet Nazarene is going to play Virgin Islands. So take a look at that. Kind of an interesting week. Nothing's going to move the standings. In the Appalachian Conference, they played a full schedule of games on Saturday. There's two. I told you the other day, I said there's two trap games in this conference. Johnson is hosting Union, and CIU has to go to Reinhardt, and they both got knocked off. But Union has a long history. Those are tough losses for those two schools, to CIU and Johnson. And then Pikeville, I just started because right now they're the head of the class right now in the Appalachian Conference. Look at the standings. Here you go. Pikeville's, what is that? 3 plus 5, 2.5 games ahead of Johnson, who's in second place, and then CIU is that's three full games back. Man, Pikeville, somebody's got to beat Pikeville, or they're just going to run away with it. Oh yeah, that's pretty obvious, Bill. Hey, I circled one game. I already talked about it. Cumberland's going to be at Pikeville. If you're anywhere near there, buy some popcorn, or get there and buy some popcorn. That's going to be one heck of a game. The Chicagoland, they played a full schedule of games as well. IU South Bend, they got the win over Holy Cross. I know it's Holy Cross is their record isn't the greatest, but it's kind of a rivalry game. Olivet Nazarene beat St. Francis. That was very big for them. And Governor State continues to win. So let's look at the standings. Why do I say all that? Well, Olivet Nazarene is now in first place in the Chicagoland. St. Francis is a game back, and Governor State's a game back. So huge win for Olivet Nazarene. Indiana South Bend is also right there. It's turning in, not quite, but it's starting to look to me like a 4-team race, but we'll have to see. Again, these are all non-conference games next week. Very few conference games next week. In the River States on Saturday, Cumberland's beat Rio Grande. I already showed you that. And here's the other games. And there's not enough there's not enough games to show you the standings. I think this, everybody's like 1-0 and 0-1. There's really only one game of note. Everything is non-conference, except for St. Mary the Wood's going to be at Brescia. Very important game. Well, that's what I have, and I appreciate everybody listening, and make sure that you enjoy your family, help your wife wrap up Christmas presents, and try to be nice to the kids this week, and I hope your team wins. This is Billy D. We'll talk to you later. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAIA school, because NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America.